Welcome everybody to Weedsport for the SESRA Dirt Series. My name's Josh Hall. Sorry for the late start. We had some very bad storms roll through my area, so I do apologize for getting the start a little bit late. But we're here and we're qualifying already. Let's quickly, while qualifying's underway, at the top of the board right now, we got Jeff Ward. Jeff having a great run last week, and not too far behind him, we've got the 6 of Dylan Nitzel. Scott Fritz, our Season 1 South champion. His league is broken down into divisions, so he was your Season 1 South champion. As we move on here to the East, take on this challenge in Weedsport. A little different look to the track. Very interesting shape. Kind of D-shaped. Very asymmetrical in shape. So it's a very big challenge to these drivers because as you see, as you come down the backstretch, you're kind of turning a little bit to get down into the corner. Jeffrey West out on track as well. West's going to be in the 6th position. See Tyler Berry back after a week off last week. Starting his qualifying run. Berry up into the 6th position on his first lap and heard him way out of the throttle there starting his second lap. He comes across the line here. And he's going to move himself. Nope, he's going to stay right there in that 6th position. So, a couple of these guys still out there running some extra laps there. Len Anderson on track right now to start his first of one of 2 laps. Way out of gas on that one. And Tyler Horn also out there making a qualifying attempt. Tyler on it. Len just ran a 15.9. See what Tyler does coming across the line this time. Oh, take it back. This is the start of his first lap here. Now he's going to come across the line to take a time. Oh, he catches the wall, so there will be no time on that lap. See what he can do on the second lap here. He's able to keep it off the wall and get a time put in. And he's going to be good for 9th with a 15.01. So he's going to have some work to do here as the race goes on. But starting on the pole will be the 55 of Jeffrey Ward. Take a look real quick at our point standings after last week. Scott Fritz, still your point leader, but by 1 over Jeff Ward. Dylan Nitzel, a little bit further back, but nothing that can't be overcome if these guys have a couple bad races. And then the tentative championship points have to do with the divisions. So, again, this is the East Division that we're starting up right now, and here at Weedsport. So this should be a really good one. I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys handle this tricky track here as they take on Weedsport for 50 laps. Thanks for joining us tonight on Intensity Broadcasting. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to the stream, especially if you like good dirt racing, because we have dirt racing here Monday nights, Tuesday nights, and Thursday nights. Also, we have racing here on Intensity Broadcasting live 7 nights a week. From Truck Series racing on Sunday night, our ARCA Series and our Dirt Series on Monday, Dirt and iOS Cup tonight, iOS Trucks tomorrow, our Thunderstruck Series, our Original Rebels, are all here on Intensity Broadcasting and here on eRacing TV. What's eRacing TV, you ask? Well, if you don't know, it's a free app you can download for your Fire Stick or your Roku that allows you to watch live e-racing 7 days a week on the big screen. So check that out if you have a Fire Stick or a Roku. It's eRacing TV, and download that. It's a free download, and you can watch it live on the big screen as well. So it looks like we have just a few more minutes left before we get to go back green flag racing. Yeah, we saw Scott Fritz just got to dominate the season, the beginning of the season, but this race, he's going to be starting back in the 3rd spot. Jeff Ward in the pole position. These guys do have the rule here in the SESRA. If the pole sitter chooses, he can drop to the rear of the field, take an EOL, and get double points for every car that he passes. Or I'm sorry, get 1 bonus point for every car that he passes. So I think with a tricky track like we have here at, whoops, wrong button on my side. A tricky track like we have here at Weedsport, and you can see the shape of the track. I don't think that Jeff's going to take that gamble. But with a long, 5 races in this division, in this class, in this East Division, if you will, he might, being early in the season, might actually try to take that gamble. It's going to be tough to say, so we'll have to see what kind of choice he makes here. Because we're going to be getting ready to go racing in about 2 minutes here at Weedsport. Well, everybody has taken their time, and we're going to get set. Everybody's getting set to take on 50 laps at this tricky and tacky Weedsport Speedway. So Weedsport Speedway used to be known as County Fair Speedway. It's 3/8 oval in Weedsport, New York. As I mentioned, nice flat, tricky shaped track. Opened up in the early 1950s. They've been racing here ever since. So we'll be looking to take on this track in just about a minute's time as the drivers get themselves set and ready to rock here. Don't forget to join us after the race as the iOS Cup Series will be taking on another very tricky track as they're going to be taking on North Wilkesboro Speedway. A little bit of a throwback race, so that'll be exciting. So I'm looking forward to that one here after this one, so stick around. That will go live at 9:30 Eastern. So we got about 15 seconds before these guys go and take the track here and get some racing done here at Weedsport. We'll get ready to grid up and show you the grid here for the race at Weedsport. And Jeff Ward is your pole sitter with 14,477. Dylan Nitzel to the outside. Row 2 is going to see the 48. Our points leader, Scott Fritz, with Dale Ward in the 8 to his outside. Austin Hahn and Tyler Berry are going to make up row number 3, with Jeffrey West and Lance Heinberger in row 4. Row 5, you're going to find Tyler Horn and Jason Anderson. And then rounding out the field is the 15 of Len Anderson. As we see the cars making their way and rolling here for their first of 2 pace laps here at Weedsport. We'll see if Jeff decides to take that EOL to get the bonus points or if he decides to stay right here at the front. We've seen early in the season, these guys, whoever the pole sitter is or whoever's leading, tends to get out and jump out far. But cautions always seem to plague that leader as he can get out to a 2 or 3 second lead. Caution comes out and bunches the field right back up. So with Weedsport being a tricky, tacky track here, we'll have to see what kind of advantage the pole sitter is going to have here. Also, we'll have to watch the way this track slicks up as it's nighttime. It's nice and cool. But as we know, as these cars run over the track, they take the moisture out of the track. It'll slick right up. So we'll have to see how these guys can navigate this tricky track. And we are green flag racing here at Weedsport. Great jump for both the front starters here as both Dylan and Jeff get out to a great start. But Jeff on that bottom line is going to look like he's going to pull right ahead. And here comes Scott Fritz down on the inside of Dylan trying to take that second position away. He's going to throw a slider here to take that second position away. And he's going to set his sights down on Jeff Ward as they go onto the front stretch. A little further back, we got a great battle back here. Austin Hahn and the 9 of Lance Heinberger. A little contact between them. Lance is going to fall back just a little bit. Now Dylan Nitzel under attack now from the one machine. And we got a yellow flag. It looks like it was for Tyler Horn, who is stuck down on the wall in turn number 4. And it's going to bring out our first wreckage rewind of the night. See if we can see what happened to Tyler here. Looks like he was running all by himself down there. Oh, just caught the wall. A little lower than he should have been in. Yeah, he just clobbered that inside wall all by himself. You see him down below the on the grass there, and yeah, trying to get all he can and just got a little too low. You see the 55 make a little bit of contact as well. And oh, I think that was the it's actually the 8 on our screen of Len Anderson. I'm sorry, of Dale Ward, but 55 on the car. So no running away with this one for Jeff Ward as Scott Fritz was able to get right around Dylan Nitzel and set his sights trying to get on the back bumper of Jeff Ward. And long race still. We're only on lap number 4. The lights on the pace truck are off. We're re-racked, restacked, getting ready to refire here at Weedsport as the pace truck is going to take that hard left-hand turn. Or excuse me, right-hand turn on the pit road, and green flag racing. We're back racing here. Great jump again from Jeff Ward, but Scott Fritz not. Oh, Dylan Nitzel around, able to get straightened back up. That's going to let Scott Fritz get back into that second position as he sets his sights on Jeff Ward. So some high contact here, these guys throughout the race, and Tyler Berry moves himself into the 5th position a little further back. Dale Ward fighting with Lance Heinberger. That's for the 7th and 8th position. Great battle there. Tyler Berry starting to move his way through the field as Jeffrey West now all over the back bumper of Scott Fritz, trying to make a move here. Try to take that second position from Fritz. He's going to work a little bit higher lane. That's going to let Nitzel try to work that bottom side. We're seeing multiple different lines here from these guys. They're trying everything they can to get around this tricky track. Scott Fritz is not going anywhere. He's not letting Jeff get away. Not like we've seen Jeff get away at some other tracks, as he's just about a half a second in front, but we're starting to see the track really start to dry out on that bottom lane. We're seeing that dirt fly and the cushion starting to move up the track. We're going to see these guys probably start moving up the track in the next lap or two, try to find as much grip as they can, as hopefully nobody catches that inside wall like we saw Tyler Horn do just a few laps ago. Now Scott Fritz is going to start working that little higher line. Here comes the 1F of Jeffrey West to his inside. Jeff is not able to make the move there. Now Fritz goes back to the bottom, trying to use a little defensive line. And while those guys are racing, that's what Jeff Ward wants to see, is they're starting to pull away. Jeff's starting to pull away from these guys just a little bit, as we got a 3-car battle here. Scott Fritz, Jeff West, and Dylan Itzel, 3 cars under a blanket, as Tyler Berry is now coming into this mix as well. Now Jeffrey West looking to the inside of Scott Fritz as they go through 1 and 2. He's got that inside position trying to push Scott Fritz up the track. Scott is fighting back on the outside, low contact. They're leaning each other going through the corner. That's going to allow Scott Fritz to get the momentum on the high side. He's going to stay in front of Jeffrey West, but Jeffrey West is fighting back on that bottom side, trying to make that bottom lane work. While that's going on, we see Tyler Berry slowly creeping into the picture here, trying to work the high side of Dylan Nitzel, and Dylan's just not giving him any room. We got 4 cars under a blanket, and while that's going on, Jeff Ward has actually slowed down a little bit. He had almost a full second lead. Now he's falling back, and he's within a half second of Scott Fritz. While that's going on, we're starting to catch some lap traffic here. These guys are coming up on the lap car of Len Anderson. Now Jeffrey West looking to the high side, not able to make it work, catches the wall just a little bit, bounces off. That's going to kill his momentum a little bit. That's going to let Nitzel come back into the picture. We see Tyler Berry actually falling off. He was just on the back bumper. Oh, some contact between the leader. Jeff Ward. Caution is out. There is some contact there between the leader and the lapper of Len Anderson. Let's see if we can see if there's just a little miscommunication by these guys or what happened here, as we see Len Anderson coming off the corner. He's got to know the leaders are coming, and he just stays right in the racing line. And yeah, it looks like the 55 just didn't really see. I thought he was going to give him a little bit more room, and the 15 goes around, and the 55 does. Actually, the 55 did not lose any positions, as the yellow came out as he was still in the lead. So, lucky break for Jeff Ward, the way that the scoring loop was, to keep him back in the lead here. And the lights are off on the pace truck. Jeff Ward's going to continue to use that bottom side on the start. Scott Fritz still to the outside. Jeffrey West in third. Dylan Nitzel in fourth. And Tyler Berry restarting in the 5th spot. So, getting ready for that pace truck to take that hard right-hand turn on the pit road. Something I'm not used to saying. Yes, Jeff Ward back on it. Scott Fritz getting a good jump. We see the one almost getting to that inside wall there. We're back racing already side by side as Jeffrey West makes a little contact with Dylan Nitzel there. Dylan just kind of pushing a little harder than he was anticipating, and a little contact there, but everybody keeps it going straight. Look at the move from Jeffrey West. Splitting him in the middle, move himself into the second place with a big slider there. What an incredible move. Now he sets his sights on Jeffrey Ward. And caution is back out. It looks like it was for, the Lance Heinberger is in the pits. And again, that's going to bring out another wreckage rewind here as we see what happened to Lance. As we get that pulled up. Lance all the way in the back here, kind of running by himself, and just hits the ruts, has no traction, and gets sent over on his roof there. So rough track, got him bouncing, had no room, and or had no grip. He gets up into the car in front of him as the pace truck's got its lights on. I think we're going to be lights on the pace truck will be off this time by. And we got one lap to go before we go back green flag racing with Jeff Ward, who's led every lap so far, but we see the 1F, that's Jeffrey Ward. I'm sorry, it's Jeffrey West, excuse me. The F1 car, 2 on the scoring pylon, trying to take that position away, and he'll be restarting on the inside as the pace truck takes the hard right-hand turn on the pit road, and Jeff Ward's going to lead him back down. And Jeff Ward right on the gas immediately. Scott Fritz in tow. Green flag's back in the air, and that's going to allow Jeffrey West not make any positions here. Let's see if Jeffrey West does the same thing he did before and just kind of throw it in there, try to make it stick. We see Tyler Berry doing exactly that. He throws it in there, isn't able to make any positions up, and Scott Fritz now under attack from Jeffrey West. Jeffrey West down to the bottom. Oh, he makes a little contact, shoves Scott up the track, and he's going to tries to throw a slider, but Scott just too powerful. Back on that outside, but here comes the slide job now, and moves Jeffrey West into the second position, and the yellow flag is back out. I'll throw up the wreckage replay and see if I can figure out what caught that out. It's that interesting timing here, the way that this happened. So the caution was brought out as Lance Heinberger was exiting pit road because the angle he was coming out of pit road, the sim thought that he was spun out, and that's what brought out the yellow. So we're going to re-rack him, restack him, get ready to refire him here at Weedsport, where Jeff Ward has led every lap so far. And the lights on the pace truck shut off, which means one more lap under caution here before we go back green flag racing. See if Jeffrey West now starting on that outside line, and Scott Fritz right there behind Jeff Ward. See if Fritz can try to take that second position back. This pace truck turns right. Green flag's back in the air. Great start again as Scott Fritz is able to get right beside Jeffrey West here going into the corner, and Jeffrey West gets a great run off the corner. He's going to absolutely clear Scott Fritz here, and he's going to set his sight on Jeff Ward as he tries to look to the bottom here, throws it in there. Oh, throws it in there a little too deep, a little contact between Jeff West and Jeffrey Ward. Jeffrey West takes the lead, but here comes, Jeffrey Ward. Hard contact between both Jeffs there. That's let Scott Fritz get back into second place. Now Jeffrey West back to fourth. Dylan Nitzel into the third position as we see some full contact racing here at Weedsport. I don't think Jeff Ward liked the way that Jeffrey West threw that in there. He just gave him the business, and he's able to stay up there in the lead. Now Scott Fritz starting to set his sights on Jeffrey Ward. He's starting to reel him in. As Jeff Fritz now slowly making his way to the back bumper of Jeffrey Ward. Jeff West on a mission right now. He's trying to get around the six of Dylan Nitzel. He's going to throw a slider here. No, Dylan's going to able to keep that high side working. As this is the battle for third place, and here goes West with the big slider here. throwing it in there to take that third position away. Here comes Tyler Berry now to the inside of the 6. He's going to throw a slider of his own. Here comes Dylan Itzel crossing over back onto the inside. Tyler Berry now on the outside trying to keep that momentum going. Trying to move himself back up towards the front. As they're still side by side racing hard. We see Jeffrey West now trying to catch up to the first front 2 cars as Jeff Ward and Scott Fritz, who are still nose to tail. They're coming up on another lap car, and this time, again, the lap car just does not know that the leaders are coming. Little contact, and Jeffrey Ward sends him up into the outside wall. That causes the leaders to lose a lot of time there. As Jeffrey West now, he's coming in a hurry now. He's kept that lead a half a second now, and he's setting his sights on Scott Fritz. So we have just 16 laps to go when we cross the line here. Jeffrey Ward starting to stretch his legs up to almost a second lead. As Scott Fritz jumps the cushion, smacks the wall. Here comes Jeffrey West battling for that second position, looking down to the inside. He's got the nose there. Can he make it work here? They go side by side through turns 1 and 2. And Scott Fritz able to motor by on that high side, keeping that momentum, and able to stay in the second position for now. Can Jeffrey West do anything here? As they're still side by side. While these two battle, Jeffrey Ward is starting to pull right away. And Tyler Berry sitting back in that 4th position after missing last week. He's here trying to get back on the podium himself. 12 laps to go here. The lap traffic again getting in the leader's way, and Jeffrey Ward now has to really check up for the lappers. He lost a ton of time as now that lead that was a second is falling back to just over half a second. Oh, Scott Fritz into the corner. Jeffrey Ward into the wall. I'm sorry, Jeffrey West into the wall. That's going to move Tyler Berry up into the second position. With 10 laps to go, Scott Fritz setting his sights on that 55 machine. If Jeffrey Ward's looking in his mirror, that 48 is getting bigger and bigger lap after lap. As this track is really transitioned, and you're seeing these guys really struggle now. Can Scott Fritz get there as he gets that car really rotating there through the center of the corner, and he's right there on the back bumper. Gonna have just 8 laps to go when they cross the line. Jeff Ward running a really defensive line, trying to take that bottom side away. Scott Fritz trying to do everything he can as they come back up on a lapper here. Contact again between the leader and the lap car. Now Scott Fritz is getting even closer now. 7 laps to go here. Scott Fritz running in Jeff Ward's tire tracks here. As they come back through turns 1 and 2. Jeff running a little higher lane. Scott trying to use that low side. Trying to find every bit of grip that they can. So you can see that track really slicked off here. 5 laps to go here at Weedsport. Right now the battle is right here for the lead. Oh, Scott Fritz almost catches the wall there. Able to keep it off there. Using all the track he can. Try to run down Jeff Ward. All Jeff Ward's got to do is run 4 more flawless laps. As we see Scott Fritz now right there on the back bumper. 3 laps to go. Does Scott have anything for Jeff here? As they work off of turn number 2, down the little back chute, into 3 and 4. 2 laps to go when they cross the line. And Jeff Ward is doing everything he can to keep Scott Fritz behind him. Scott is trying to do everything he can to find a place to make the move as they come off of turn number 4. A white flag is in the air. One more lap to go. Can Fritz do anything? Is he going to try to throw it in here? A little bit of contact between those two. Scott Fritz hits the wall. I think that's going to end up doing it here. Is that incident is going to let Jeff Ward stretch his legs, and Jeff Ward comes across the line. Jeff Ward is going to win it here at Weedsport. Scott Fritz comes in second, and Tyler Berry, after a week hiatus, makes his way back into the podium. Jeffrey West falling back to fourth. Dylan Nitzel in fifth, as we'll bring up our results with Jeff Ward, your winner here. So he's going to celebrate here on the front stretch. Sixth place, you're going to have Dale Ward, Austin Hahn in seventh, Jason Anderson in the eighth spot, Lance Heinberger, Len Anderson, and Tylen Horde round out the field, as we're seeing Jeff Ward just throw some laps down in celebration. That was a wild finish there. A wild race in general, especially with the lappers, causing some havoc there with the leaders. And we'll have to talk to these guys about what was going on there with the lap traffic there, as we see the fireworks going off. We'll talk with our third place finisher, Tyler Berry. Tyler, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Josh.
Man, what a wild race tonight, as we had just everywhere tonight, just cars. The lappers kind of not staying out of the way. How was the race from your side of things, as you did come home in third after starting a little further back in the pack?
Yeah, just starting that far back, I didn't get a good qualifying lap, and it easy, try to pass when opportunities arise, which they did, and luckily it turned out for us. I just came back from vacation, so I was a little rusty, but still not my favorite track, and I knew this one was gonna be Jeff Ward's really good tracks, because he likes to ride the bottom at a lot of tracks, nice and slow, but it was weird seeing him up top there, and I know him and Scott were pretty close towards the end. I was just watching and trying to, I guess, not mess up and ruin a podium position. But yeah, the track got it's kind of tricky, because usually, since the new update in these cars, it's kind of opposite of where the track is usually run, but it was right up against the wall again, and I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, again, overall, a really good run, and I guess that's it.
Yeah, over a 50 lap run, it looked like the track really changed from the start of the race to the finish of the race. It really slicked off there. Is that what you were seeing as well?
Yeah, it got really slick in the middle, and bottom line wasn't going to work in 3 and 4 like I expected. I was going to try to run the bottom the whole way if I could, but that top had too much speed, and it honestly got a lot slicker than I thought it was going to be. There was still plenty of tack up top and nothing in the bottom, but still pretty good track overall, I guess, for 50 laps and 11 people or so, I believe.
Yep. So, well, a great run tonight. Congratulations on the podium, third place finish. Anybody you'd like to thank? I know you got a list of shout outs you got to give.
Yeah, I just got to shout out T-Berry Motorsports first off, and Scott taking second and always running strong recently. He's really coming up there and proving that we got the, I guess I don't want to sound cocky here, but we got some pretty good drivers and put a lot of practice into it. But then I'll get to Crawl River Signs, Wrath Racing, ATV, UTV, Dynamic Designs with Trevor Rush. Scott Fritz Designs for the wraps, as always. He does an amazing job. 605 and Racing and Tire Solutions. Of course, you, Josh, for broadcasting this season. It's always fun going back and watching. I say that every time, but I really do enjoy going back and watching these races, and learning a little bit of what we need to work on, I guess. And then gotta thank Jason and everyone involved in SESRA. I love this league as always, and always willing to come back, and it's always great racing. And then lastly, I gotta thank my girlfriend Lizzie and my puppies downstairs.
Always got to give a shout out to the lady. Well, again, congrats on the third place finish after the week hiatus, and we move on next week. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. We'll be back up here hopefully.
So that was your second place finisher, Tyler Berry. Let's move up to our. That was your third place finisher. I'm sorry. Let's move up to our second place finisher, Scott Fritz. Scott, you got Josh in the booth. You got me?
Yep, I got you.
Man, what a wild race. I mean, it just was not what I was expecting, especially battling up there at the front. We saw the lap cars kind of cause a little bit of havoc there with the leaders. What was going on with that? Was it just a little miscommunication, or was it just tough racing?
Nah, this track's really tight, so there wasn't much they could do where they could go, and I think we kind of always would seem to catch them at the wrong time, wrong place, wrong time. So yeah, they caused little problems, but overall, it was pretty good.
Yeah, Tyler was talking to me about how the track really slicked up and it was complete, not what he was expecting with the track. Did you find that as well? Was the track just really challenging tonight?
Yeah, I mean this track's challenging in its own, but the track started to get slick, and it really started to get rough down the front stretch, which was kind of tossing the car around, especially on the entry to one. So that was pretty tough, but
Man, yeah, it was a great race to watch. Really exciting to watch there, especially towards the end. And congrats on the second place finish. Anybody you'd like to thank? Any shout outs you got to give?
yeah, I drove the wheels off. I definitely made Jeff earn it. I thought I could have had him there on that last lap, but I caught the wall going into one. But good win to Jeff. He earned it, and just want to thank everyone at T-Berry Motorsports and two cars on the podium tonight. Wrath ATV, UTV, 605 Racing and Tire Solutions, my girlfriend and everyone watching, and you in the booth, and Jason and ESN for putting this on.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you again, and congratulations on the runner-up finish. I know the still a good point stage. You've got that good commanding points lead right now, but it looks like Jeff is going to. Well, I know there's only 1 point between you and Jeff actually coming into this, so it's going to be interesting as the points battle goes on throughout the season.
Yep. Actually, I had won the South Region Championship. Jason said so. This was the first of the North Region. So, yep. We'll see how it goes.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we'll catch you next week, I'm sure.
Yep. Thank you.
So that was your second place finisher, Scott Fritz. Let's move on to your winner tonight, Jeff Ward. Jeff, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Josh.
Man, it seems like every week we're talking to almost the same three people every week, the class of the field. And Jeff, you just dominated this race, leading from start to finish. I know the track, I was talking with both guys there. The track really changed. It was a really, really tough track to get around. And I mentioned before, it seemed like you guys caught the lap cars at all the wrong times. And that must have been frustrating for you as the race went on.
Yeah, man, that was that was a real tough race. For a little 50 lapper, we had a lot of chaos crammed in there. I probably hit the same lapper 2 or 3 times, and after that first one, I was pretty fired up. I thought I'd lost the lead, and it ended up putting me back up to first there, and was able to restart where we was. So just kept digging, man. The track changed a lot, like you said. The bottom was good at first, and then moved up top, and made it pretty hard for Scott to get any runs on me on the bottom there. Seen him back there coming. He definitely put the pressure on, and probably even give me a break when I got into the lapper the second time. So Scott's definitely a clean driver, class act. We got into the number two there. I think it was looks like Jeffrey West. Man, he just he came in, gave me a good shot, knocked me up the track. So I pretty much went and did the same thing back to him. Just good hard racing, I guess, and glad was able to come out on top after all that.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned the full body, full contact sport that we saw tonight, and it was great racing. And when you're in these dirt cars, that you got to do what you got to do to get the win. So congrats on the win. And yeah, we were talking about that with the other two. Like you said, the track really really changed. Did you expect it to change that much, or was it just kind of a surprise as the race went on?
You know, I ran the entire practice session. I never really did figure out where we needed to be for the race. I ran a little bit on the bottom, ran a little bit on the top, and it seemed like what ended up being the fastest over in turn 3 and 4 was the middle of the track. So I didn't really expect that. I just tried to adapt the best I could. I think Scott was a little faster. He adapted a little bit better, but it's just so hard to pass unless you really rough somebody up, knock them out of the way. And I guess he could have did that, but it would have been a long season if we was beating and banging off each other every week instead of racing clean. So, hats off to him. And this points battle's getting hot, man. I'm gonna miss the next 2 weeks, which sucks. I'm going on an Alaskan cruise, and I wish I wasn't because we're right there knocking on the door.
Yeah, for sure. Well, as I mentioned to Scott as well, or as Scott said, I should say, he said he made sure you earned that one. So congrats on the win. Anybody you got a shout out or thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to Lexington Brewing and Distilling Company, Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale. Thanks to Arctic Coolers, Conundrum Outfitters. Thanks to you up in the booth. Thanks to my teammate Mike Bailey. Been trying to get him to come out here and run some dirt, but he's more of an asphalt guy. Thanks to friends and family and the admins. I think that's about it.
All right, man. Well, thanks again and congratulations on the win. I know you said you're taking a 2 week hiatus here, so we'll see you in a couple weeks and hopefully you can be right back to your winning ways.
Yep, we'll be back. Thanks, man.
Well, there you have it. The SESRA here at Weedsport. Jeff Ward taking home the victory with a tough fought battle with Scott Fritz. And we saw a little bit of everything tonight with some hard racing, some full body contact, and a lot of hard nose racing here. So join us again next week, same time, as we're going to get our double header with the Dirt SESRA and then the iOS Cup Series starting their playoffs next week. Don't forget to join us tonight at 9:30 for the iOS Cup Series as they take on North Wilkesboro Speedway for their final race of their regular season before the playoffs start. So again, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. We do appreciate the love that you give. And as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over and out.